Hi, welcome to the Mind Matter Lifestyle. I'm Mikey Weiss, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing how do some people stay shredded year-round, or how do they seem to be shredded all year round. So this question actually comes from a coaching client of mine, and she's been seeing people online and wondering how they appear to be so lean while she's working on things like growing muscle, and with what comes with that, being a little higher in body fat percentage. This is something that I think a lot of people struggle with because of what they see online. And we all see people online, whether it be on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is, whatever platform you're looking at, there's always going to be people that are shredded year-round. You know, chiseled abs, delts popping out, glutes popping out. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to touch on exactly why this is. I used to go into, and this was a long time ago, I used to go into the vitamin shop or GNC, and this was before social media, and I would flip through the bodybuilding magazines and I would see people that were just in crazy shape, and I wanted to do that myself. Now, rather than going into a shop and seeing this every once in a while, you're seeing it all day long, all week long, all year round online. Comparison is a pretty good thing. It can be a good thing. As humans, we are supposed to compare ourselves to our neighbors, to our tribes, and it's meant to force us to improve. Only now, instead of comparing ourselves to our neighbors or our tribe, we're comparing ourselves to tens of thousands of people in the matter of moments because of technology. So this can be either a good thing or a really bad thing. And after being in the industry now for quite a while, it's clearer to see what actually goes more behind the scenes when it comes to manipulating your physique, being lean, and how to maintain that appearance year-round. I know a lot of you aren't as privy to this, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to give you 5 reasons how people stay this lean year-round. As I'm going through and getting ready to compete in my first bodybuilding show of the season, I'm taking a lot of photographs, whether this be on my camera phone, whether it be on my DSLR camera that I'm filming with right now, or whether it be with professional photographers. The reason that I'm doing this is because I run an online coaching business. My whole business revolves around physiques. So, being that I'm not lean all the time, when I am lean, I make sure to take a lot of photographs because I need to be able to promote those photos for the next year and actually for years to come. So my first reason is actually people aren't lean year-round. They are just promoting photographs of when they were lean. This is something that I do. This is something a lot of my close friends who are also my colleagues do. None of us are consistently dieting. In fact, our diets are pretty infrequent. We diet when we have to bring our body fat percentages down and maybe get some photos taken, things like this. But other than that, we're spending our time growing, living life. And most of that time is in a caloric surplus. And me personally, and I know my colleagues, we share this information. You know, we don't promote that we're always dieting. We share updated physique progress photos and things like this. But a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people only share photos when they're shredded. And they will sprinkle these out slowly throughout the course of the year or years, depending on what their business is, and they will promote themselves as being lean all of the time. And there's nothing wrong with this. However, as a viewer, being educated is important, so it's good to know whether these people are actually lean all the time. Remember, fitness is a business. It's a big business. Being abnormally lean is attractive. It's attractive to viewers and to subscribers and to people who are themselves trying to work on getting lean. It's better for somebody's business to appear superhuman, if you will, to appear like they are always in crazy good shape, when in actuality, they're not. This next one is one that I'm not certain why I didn't catch on to in my younger years. I would see people in magazines and they would just be so shredded, so vascular, so huge, and they would appear to be like this all the time. And I thought, if you trained hard enough, if you trained long enough, and if you were on target with your diet, that you could get like this. I didn't take into consideration that they weren't actually natural. And this is my number 2 point. The people that you see that are lean, shredded, huge, all of these things, they aren't actually natural. And this is big in the fitness industry, depending on where you're looking. A lot of people do use enhancement. This makes it easier to be leaner year-round. You can stay lean while growing muscle. You can have a superhuman appearance pretty much all year round. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this. I myself am a lifetime natural athlete. However, I do coach and have coached many people who are enhanced. I don't make any judgments, and I actually don't see anything really wrong with it. If somebody chooses to go the enhanced route and they do so in an educated and responsible way for their goals, then that's their decision. However, for the consumer or the person viewing this, it's not really a fair comparison. So if you're comparing yourself and you're a natural, and you're comparing yourself to somebody who is enhanced, try not to be so hard on yourself, because your body and their bodies are not going to respond the same. Oftentimes, I'll have people reach out to me and they'll express their goals and they'll send me a photo of what they'd like to look like. After looking at them and looking at their ideal physique, I will have to be honest with them and tell them, hey, this is not possible for you unless you were enhanced. This person that you're giving me a photo of is clearly enhanced and has been for a very long time. Not to mention, they're genetically elite and have been training for their entire lives. And I won't bullshit people. I won't beat around the bush. I will let somebody know up front, hey, look, this is what you can expect. This is what's realistic. And sometimes people don't know how to take that. Sometimes they'll be appreciative of the information. Other times they'll be very discouraged or disappointed. And I've had people express wanting to go into a natural competition and gain 15 pounds of muscle mass while dieting going into the show. That is physically impossible. And when I tell them they're gonna actually have to lose weight, they're gonna have to lose body fat, they're gonna have to lose muscle, they're not happy to hear that. And I'm not someone who will beat around the bush or just tell someone what they want to hear. I'll tell them what they need to hear, which is the truth. So if you're seeing someone who is shredded to the bone, lean, abs, glutes, who is pumped up beyond belief, vascular, someone who is competing year after year after year, season after season, and they seem to still be making these crazy physique gains, and it's likely 99.99% of the time that they are not natural. It doesn't mean they're going overboard with the enhancements either. It might be a little bit, but a little bit is still going to allow people to progress at a very different rate than someone who is natural. To go along with this, things like lighting need to be taken into consideration. Things like angles. when these people are and I'll include myself here, when I'm taking a photo or something like that, you want to look as great as you can possibly look. You're in great lighting, you know what angles you look good in, you know what angles you look bad in, you know what poses to hit. Even some people are using things like Photoshop. That I don't agree with, but they're using Photoshop and photo apps to doctor themselves up to the point where they're a caricature of themselves. So number 2, again, that's going to be enhancements. Number 3, surprise, surprise, they are actually lean year-round. Some people can do it. However, what goes along with this? Insane discipline. These people put everything into their physiques. They don't eat at restaurants. They don't party. They get 8-10 hours of sleep every single night. They hit their macros consistently every single day of the year. They're always keeping themselves in a deficit, or at least a maintenance phase. Now, these people don't necessarily change their physiques that much because they're not able to really grow much because of being in a deficit most of the time, but they don't care about that. I coach people like this. They don't care about that. They want to stay lean. They want to stay in shape. They like themselves at a certain body weight, and they do the work in order to keep themselves at that point. But it takes a ton of work and a ton of discipline. If you can't reach your calories every day, every week, every month, don't even think about it. This isn't for you. And there's also more that goes on behind the scenes with something like this. You decide to stay lean all the time and to live a lifestyle where you're constantly in a calorie deficit. The leaner you are, the less you can eat. The less you can eat, the more you think about food. And this leads me to number 4, eating disorders. A lot of people who decide to stay lean all the time do have eating disorders. Are prevalent in the fitness industry. Lots of people have them. Some people stay lean because they're afraid. They're afraid to gain body fat. They have a very, very hard time gaining weight. This causes them to restrict their calories. This causes them to stay leaner than their body would prefer. And this leads to things like binging. Not many people can stay super lean year-round if their body doesn't prefer it and come out without some form of an eating disorder. And these come in all different shapes and all different sizes. No eating disorder is the same. Sometimes people have a disorder where they have to be all in. They have to reach their macros to the gram every day, or else they're gonna be all out, where they're just saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just eat everything in sight. I missed one macro, I'm gonna go crazy. Some people compete perpetually. How often do you see somebody competing year after year after year? Often they're not doing this because they enjoy competing. They're competing because they need a reason to stay lean and to diet. They also tend to get very heavy in the off season, much heavier than they need to get. How often do you see somebody compete and then 2 weeks later they look like they've never competed before? That's not because they're just entering a great productive off season. They binged post-show and then they started going crazy with food. Obviously, we want to refrain from this mindset. Make sure you're doing these things for the right reasons. And my last point is genetics. Genetics play a role from everything to how quickly you build muscle, how much muscle you're able to build, your metabolism. That may not seem fair, or you might be confused by this, but life isn't fair. That's just the way it is. You have to make the most of what you have. And if your genetics aren't that elite, or if your body doesn't allow you to stay that lean while doing things like living your life, building muscle, feeling good, then you have to refrain from dieting. You have to refrain from staying lean all the time. Why do you feel the need to stay lean? Is it for your business? Is it for your Instagram page? These days, a lot of people don't want to actually stay lean for themselves. Rather, they like staying lean for things like social media. If you're passionate about it and you want to do it for you because you enjoy it, then do it. But if you're doing these things because you think you'll look cooler or you'll look superior on social media, then that's the wrong reason to get into something like this. Take it from someone who knows what it's like to be lean, who knows what it's like to be shredded, and who knows what it's like to have higher levels of body fat. You're not going to be any happier when you're leaner. You shouldn't base your happiness on your body fat percentage. Right now, I am shredded, getting ready for a bodybuilding show, and I am not any happier than I was when I was in the heart of my off season. That's because I value myself, I'm confident in me and who I am, and self-worth comes in more than just your appearance. So many people think they're going to be happier when they're leaner, only to be sorely disappointed when they reach that goal. This is because they haven't done the work on themselves to work on things other than just their body fat percentage. At the end of the day, your friends, your spouse, your family, the people you care about most aren't gonna think more of you because you're leaner. Make sure you're working on yourself. And I don't mean just your body. The more content you are with yourself, the more you value yourself, the more confident you are, the more you're gonna find that you really don't need to be lean all the time. And trust me, once you do that, and once you feel great about yourself during all of your phases, getting leaner is going to be much more enjoyable. It is a ton of fun, meant to be enjoyed, not an obligation. It's an opportunity, and we're all very fortunate to be able to control things like the foods that we eat and the portions that we consume. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. Let me know in the comments section, what do you think about my points? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? Are there any that you would add? I'd like to hear what you guys think. If you found the information that I've given today valuable, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, please share this video with a friend or family member who can benefit from the information. If you'd like to get my help personally, you can do so by visiting my website, themindmatterlifestyle.com. If you'd like me to answer a question or scenario for you in an upcoming video, you can do so by shooting me an email. My email is listed in the description box. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.